I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
It is time for us to use our power. Please do not beg folks for power. Nobody is going to give it to you. You were born with power.
Some very sad news for all of you and people who love peace all over the world. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
But the hard truth is that not everyone is sharing in this city's splendor and glory. There are more poor than ever, more families in trouble, more and more people who need help but can't find it.
A struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself.
We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment.
And so we say to all in this nation who dare listen to us, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Asian, Latino, that we are brothers and sisters in a long and difficult struggle.
We have a government, sir, that needs to be opened up before the American people.
We have a government as a result of being hit by the car on West Florissant. I think she was 39 years old. I can't call her name right now, but it'll come to me in a minute. Her baby is, I think it was a 2-year-old child or something that's still in the hospital in critical condition. For those of you that may not be aware, we recently had a real bad snow and ice storm here in the city of St. Louis. And as a result, a lot of our streets were not properly cared for. And the issue, in my opinion, is a result of a lot of the, for lack of better words, ills that we fail to address. As it relates to traffic laws not being enforced. And as a result of, for whatever reason, not wanting to enforce traffic laws, they had to put down these different barriers and what have you to prevent people from weaving in and out of traffic. So when the snow hit, the snowplow truck drivers were a little hesitant to plow in certain areas in fear of hitting some of those barriers. And some of the areas, as like West Florissant, where they were able to get closer to the curb, they ended up shoveling a lot of the snow and the ice on the sidewalks, and it blocked the sidewalks. So people were unable to walk the sidewalks, and some folks had to walk in the street. And as a result, this sister trying to take her child to the store to get some whatever goodies or whatnot they needed, ended up getting hit and killed, lost her life as a result. And my heart goes out to her and her family, and I pray that they get all the answers and the justice that they are seeking and require. there are a number of issues that we are plagued with, and a lot of this stuff, in my opinion, is a result of us failing to demand better long time ago. We had, and I don't know if anybody can elaborate on this or not, and I hope somebody that's listening can share and enlighten me. But I would like to know if anyone can tell me about the 20 years that Francis Slade was voted in office consecutively for 20 years, and what did he contribute or do in the interest of black folks in North St. Louis City? I can't think of anything. Like I say, it was some number of years that I wasn't here, so it may be something that I missed. But I would hope that someone can call and tell me something that Francis Slade did in the interest of black folks in North St. Louis City, except for buy out certain elected officials to get him to endorse and carry their baton and their water buckets for him to get him back in office. And as a result of him being there so long, a lot of our North Side deteriorated, and services and resources were denied, and we just steadily deteriorated under his administration, in my opinion. Now, if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected, and I challenge anyone to correct me where I'm wrong. And that's something that we would like to talk about briefly this evening, amongst other things. Pianki said he was going to call in. Pianki is a diehard Trump supporter, and he believes that Donald Trump was God, heaven sent, is what the words I think he used. And I would like to know how Trump is heaven sent, and what did Trump do to become heaven sent. And I'm gonna see if Pianki would call and address that. Pianki is a good brother, man. In my opinion, he used to be a good brother anyway. The jury is out on him right now, but I want him to speak for himself. I don't want to have Pianki to talk about. I don't want to speak for Pianki, rather. So I'm going to wait patiently. He said he was going to call in about 5 minutes or so. We're going to see if Pianki keeps his word and call and tell us all these great things about Donald Trump. I don't like to just be one-sided. I like to hear the other side sometimes within, to a limit, within reason. And that's just something that I think that I like to be open-minded, and if it's something that I've missed or overlooked, then that's I'm open to hear what other folk think and say. So just keep that in mind. Also, today I know that there are some folk that are willing to get back engaged and get involved. I have all but given up as it relates to the money that was sent by the federal government. The folks down at St. Louis Development Corporation that were appointed by our mayor to distribute those funds have made it very difficult to communicate with them. They're unwilling to communicate about the money. And from where I'm sitting and what I've seen, the folks at St. Louis Development Corporation have a mission, and their mission is to do everything within their power to keep poor black folks, such as myself and others, from getting the monies that were sent by the federal government post-COVID in our interest. Those were emergency funds sent 3.5 years ago, and I haven't been able to get those funds, and I don't know anybody else that has gotten them. So that's something we're going to be talking about in a minute here. Good evening. There's a lady or a gentleman on the line.
Yes, this is Mr. Pianki. How are you, Prince Carter?
Pianki.
Prince Carter.
Pianki, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic.
Now you're down in New Orleans now, aren't you? You said you
no,
would like.
I'm an hour or so outside of New Orleans.
Okay, but the ducks aren't doing too good down there with the weather as well, from what I'm being told.
Yeah, they got about 10 inches of snow down in New Orleans. This is a phenomenon.
Yeah. You left St. Louis to get away from the cold, and lo and behold, look at you now.
Well, yeah, you're right. But you know the thing about this, it only lasts about a day or so. In some cases, just hours.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, Pianki, before you came on, I was telling the listening audience about your support for Donald Trump, and you think that Trump, and these are your words, not mine, was heaven sent.
Oh, yeah, he was. Your listening audience never called in your show. Are you sure they're there?
Oh, well, I'm looking at them right here. Oh, okay. Some folks are phone shy or what have you, and some folks just like to listen. They don't like to talk. And that's why we got you to tell what you think and how you feel as relates to Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, I would say he's God sent, because if you look at the situation of the country, from the economic, social, and political, it's in complete disarray, especially the federal government. And things are backwards. You know, states don't control the federal government like they was meant to be in the U.S. Constitution. And now all of a sudden you got him come along and saying the things that need to be said, and actually the things that people are yearning to hear, and to put forth their ideas, and he's listening. And he does what he says he's going to do. That there in itself is a phenomenon.
And what are some of these things that he said he's going to do that he does? Give me an example.
Well, right now he's working on the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that's in the country. And he's working to remove regulations that stymie businesses. Business can't operate when they're forced to adhere to federal regulations, and in many cases at the time, it's federal overreach. There's only certain things that the federal government is allowed to do according to the Constitution. It's either 3 or 4. And right now, they're at every turn in your life. Mm-hmm. And that there is just totally unacceptable.
You know, Pianki, you wow. You make me think that, you know, you really believe the things that you say as it relates to Donald Trump. You make me believe that you really believe that he's going to work in the interest of all the people in this country. And when you talk about illegal immigrants, and it's funny that you say that, and we all are looking at folks that are on stolen land in the first place. This country was stolen from the Indians, and you wouldn't disagree with that, of course. How do you feel about boasting about someone kicking illegal immigrants off of stolen land?
Well, this country is a formation of a government now. It has rules. It has laws. It's a country of laws.
And lawlessness. Don't leave out lawlessness as well.
Well, yeah, there's always the opposite. You got good and bad, hot and cold, and up and down. But you talk about the Asians that you call Indians. When they came here, they took away things and fought with those that was here before them, the Mayan, the Taino, and the Aztec.
Mm-hmm. Pianki, are you going to sit here and say that, you know, you think it's right for them to kick people out of this country like they're talking about doing? It's supposed to be the land of the free. Isn't this the land of the free?
No, it's not. It is. You're free to come here, but you have to come here based on the rules and regulations. Barbara Jordan, who was a congresswoman, black congresswoman in Texas, and you can listen to her on YouTube. She said that immigration is not a right, it's a privilege. Mm-hmm. And it's a privilege that should be used according to the rules that's set up. People that come to this country, any other country, are supposed to bring something, not come to take. You're not supposed to come and get on the dole. You're supposed to come to make the country better. Similar to what John F. Kennedy said, ask not.
Do you think
your country can do for you?
Do you think that those people that were freed today by your president that engaged into unlawful acts on January 6th that caused 140 officers to be hurt and 5 to be killed, do you think that it was right for the president to free those people of any wrongdoings?
Well, anybody that done something wrong should face the consequence. But those that didn't do anything wrong, they haven't been charged, have had their habeas corpus violated, not only should they be free, but they should receive compensation for it because they was held without being charged. It goes against one of their constitutional rights to a speedy and fair trial. They never did receive it.
Would you disagree, Pianki, with on January 6th, 5 people lost their lives at the Capitol there? You wouldn't disagree with that?
Yeah, especially. Yeah, no, actually, Babby lost her life when she was murdered by the Capitol police officer.
Oh, you saying
who stepped from around the corner? Who stepped from around the corner and shot her as she was not posing any harm whatsoever.
But they were under attack. The Capitol was under attack, was it not?
They opened the door. How were they under attack?
Wait a minute. You don't believe that they actually opened the door, Pianki? Come on. You didn't see the all of the people that were being forced themselves through those doors over the walls?
You had some bad people. Did you see the one scene where the one Capitol police officer was leading the people up the stairs to follow me?
He was a part of the Trump supporters.
No, he wasn't. He's a black Capitol police officer.
Pianki, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, January 6th was a tremendous crime perpetrated by folks.
Well, it wasn't. It was not. It was a protest. It was not an insurrection. The FBI itself said it wasn't an insurrection. Capitol Hill, the Hill itself said it was an insurrection. The Federal Election Commission said it was not an insurrection.
So you're saying it was a protest?
It was a protest.
A very violent protest, was it not? A very violent protest,
well,
was it not?
Press, you got to let a person finish their answer.
No.
Because you got people that's listening.
You
got people that's listening. Apparently, that's why they don't call in.
Well, Pianki, we only have that problem out folks like yourself, but nonetheless, they don't call in because they choose not to call in. Some people choose to listen, and they don't have to call in.
Well, they should call in and express. They should call in and express their feelings, express their question. People have questions because there's many things. Of course, you're not taught this in school, right? It's hidden in the book. But Article 2, Section 1 of the United States Constitution says when there's controversies between states, it lists what should be done. And several times it wasn't done. First, starting off with a lawsuit that was filed by the state of Texas against, I believe it was Massachusetts and Virginia. Then it went on with the counting of the electors by Mike Pence when he had dual ballots that was coming from the same state. So those were supposed to have been sent back.
So now what you're trying to do is justify people storming the Capitol and causing a riot. You're trying to justify it. That's what you're telling me?
No, I'm not trying to justify it no more than people was storming stores in cities and burning down police stations during 2 or 3 years following George Floyd. And even in St. Louis.
You're mixing apples with oranges, Pianki. We're talking about folks that went to the state capitol and caused lives to be lost under the instructions of Donald Trump.
Donald Trump didn't tell nobody to go take anybody's lives. That there is some more stuff that has has not been proved. You got the
He
transcript.
told
You
the
can read what was said.
transcript. One of the transcripts that I recall him saying, "Go and show them how you feel. Let them know how you feel."
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yeah. It didn't tell.
He sent a
Well, is that an
he sent a
instruction?
racist mob to the Capitol.
No, he just said no, baby. Well, they already had decided he did not do that, Prince.
Who was they?
The committees already have decided that he did not spur no riot. I know people that went to the rally. Now, Super Dave, who has a blog talk radio store there in St. Louis, he went. You had Peggy Hubbard, I think she went. She was there in attendance to Donald Trump's rally. Donald Trump's rally started an hour to hour 15 minutes late, and when their people left him, they got to the Capitol and everything was already going on.
Since you're doing such a great job at defending Trump, I want you to explain to me.
No, I'm defending the truth.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the truth. The truth was there was a noose. Did you see that noose that was hung out there and they were chanting for Mike Pence? Did you not see that?
No, I didn't pay no attention to that.
You didn't pay no attention to that. So you have selective memory now.
No, I don't have no selective memory. Matter of fact, I didn't even watch the rally. But I heard
so
about what
you didn't
went
watch
on.
it, so you can't say you can't sit here and say it wasn't a riot.
I didn't see it in its full content.
It was a riot. I did. It was a riot.
Accountable. I have read. Well, I tell you what. Show me where somebody of accountability said it was a riot. Show me where the FBI said it was an insurrection. Show me where the Federal Election Commission said it was an insurrection.
White privilege will allow them to doctor up and twist things any way they so ever choose.
You had blacks that was there too also, so it was not no white privilege.
The masses of those people were racist white folks that stormed that Capitol and caused folks to lose their lives.
I know whites that went there, they're not racist, and you got independent black news, alternative news, like the Black Conservatives and several of them, who says the same thing.
Would you or do you support a noose being displayed at the state capitol?
I don't support a noose being displayed at the state capitol no more than I support a noose being displayed at Labadie Powerhouse out there in Labadie, Missouri.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was, in case you said you missed it, there was a noose that they displayed chanting for Mike Pence to come out, and they wanted to put him in the noose.
Well, who put it out there? It could have been some FBI op-ed.
So you're going to blame it on the FBI now?
Yeah, you had Ray Epps that was on a loudspeaker telling people to storm the Capitol. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, but I also know that they were operating under the instructions of Donald Trump.
Ray Epps was not operating under the instructions of Donald Trump. You've been talking for 20 minutes. You wasn't going to mention his name, now were you?
No, I was not, because it's not about him. It's
about.
Well,
then what you're doing is you were told pertinent information. You know that's not right. Shame on you, Prince.
No, shame on you, Bianchi. Shame on you.
No, shame on you. As much problem as you had with your city government not giving your business money in order to develop, looking at you like you just a peon, shame on you. You shouldn't do those things, man. Karma is a heck of a thing to have to face.
And I surely hope I'm not around when you face yours. Let me say this, Bianchi. If you're going to sit here and deny that wasn't an insurrection, if you're going to sit here and deny the fact that 140 people were injured and 5 people lost their lives as a result of Donald Trump sending them to the Capitol, something's wrong. Shame on you. Shame on you. How about that? Shame on you.
Donald Trump didn't send nobody. Donald Trump did not
He
send
called
nobody
the
to the
rally,
Capitol to riot.
He called and
then why
organized
come
the
he's
rally.
not? Then why come he's not in jail?
Because of white privilege.
Oh man, get out of here. Who runs your government in St. Louis?
White folks.
Oh bullcrap. Yeah, right. Who's the mayor? Who's the comptroller? Who's the prosecutor?
And I don't think that those folks are actually running the city. I believe
But why?
that
If you don't think, who's your legislative representation in those areas?
what did that have
Sharon
to do
Ty's a good friend of yours, right?
Yeah, okay. You trying to be real funny now. You and I both know that
No,
Sharon
Ty's is a good friend of yours. She's one of your representatives.
Well, she's not. She doesn't represent me. Sharon Ty's does not represent me. Anyone that represents me
Why
is
not?
willing, because anyone that represents me is willing and able to sit down and converse with me about my concerns and any issues that I have. Sharon Ty's does not do that. She's refused to do that, and you know that. And why would you bring that up?
No, I don't. No, I don't know that. I know what you complain about, but here's the question: Why do you keep voting for her?
That's a good question. And we talked about that earlier before you came on. They voted for Francis Slade for 20 years. Why did they vote for him? Can you tell me anything that Francis Slade did in the interest of the black community in 20 years?
I don't live in St. Louis.
Well, you did, Bianchi. You did.
I know one thing.
You did. You don't now, but you did.
I never lived. I don't live in St. Louis, but I didn't live in St. Louis then. I know one thing. That party that Francis Slade's a part of, which he's got a right to be, has been in power for at least 70 some odd years, going all the way back to Raymond Tucker.
Mm-hmm. That's a history lesson for today.
It's the same complaint. But you know, as I think I told you before, the major thing that's a problem there is your kids are not being educated. Black kids are not being educated, and that is a travesty. Shame on you. Shame on you. They cannot compete.
You were here for how many years, Bianchi? How many years were you here?
What has that got to do
I'm
with
just asking the question. How many years were you here before you went to New Orleans? Louisiana.
I'm not in New Orleans.
Well, Louisiana.
I came here because my grandson
I understand.
went to,
you said that,
attended LSU.
But that's not the question. The question is, how long did you live in St. Louis?
Say I was there for about 30 years. How did that sound?
What did you do as it relates to education?
I built about 8 or 11 schools in the St. Louis Public School District, built schools in Normandy. I put up office buildings. I put up bridges. I hired people.
What did you do in the interest of education?
What did I do? We myself and DACA, the National Black United Front, worked to put in force the first charter school in the state of Missouri.
Mm-hmm. What school was that?
Mm-hmm. It was to be the Imhotep Academy.
Where was the Imhotep Academy at?
Well, Imhotep
where was it located?
It didn't develop because you had some people that didn't want to support it. We had to take the State Board of Education to court, and we had a court session down at Judge Durker's court there downtown, and we got a favorable ruling out of that.
We
took Kevin Adams to Kansas City so he could observe a school in progress in Kansas City, Missouri, in which he liked, and he came back to St. Louis and got with Sean Nichols to open up the old coal school that was closed there on the Holman Tracks in Enright, and now it's Pomoja Bertha Gilkey.
Mm-hmm.
We worked with Bertha Gilkey. We took about 2,000 parents, and they was able to take their children and put them into a school choice atmosphere. It just goes on and on.
Well, and see, Bianchi, in my opinion, that was part of the biggest problem, and a grave disservice that was done to our people in our community with that school of choice thing. Rather than have a school of choice, we should have been focused on providing the resources and the tools and bettering the schools that we already had versus sending our children to places where they're
What
unwanted.
kind of resources? St. Louis Public Schools have more resources per pupil than schools around it.
You
It's
believe
got
that?
more resources per pupil. It's printed in the Post-Dispatch. How St. Louis Public School money is spent, or how school money is spent, is an article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. They got more money than Bayless. They got more money than Aston. They got more money than some of your public schools out in St. Louis County. It's called the ADA, the average daily attendance.
So, and what you're telling me now is that it's black folks' fault that the schools are in the condition that they're in.
They had a meeting years ago, some time ago. They had a meeting at Sodan High School, where you had one of the dancers was there. I think it was John Danford, and it may have been a representative. And they was talking about how the rural schools complain that St. Louis Public School District have more money than they do, and their students are not living up to the task.
One thing we can both agree on. One thing we both can agree on, as a whole, as it relates to the masses of black folk, we as a people, as a community, are not doing the best we can do. I believe that, and I can agree with you on that. However,
All right, but let me ask you this. So why is it that when you have poor parents, poor households that's functional, and they do the things that's necessary for their children to succeed, why should they not have the ability to put their child where they think is best for their child? Nobody knows what's best for the child than the parent. The parents don't want their children there because you're holding them back. Betty Thomas,
why not
the
fix it?
representative
Why not
there,
fix it,
state rep
Bianchi?
for University City. Wait a minute.
Why not
Betty
fix
Thomas, I think she's passed now. Betty Thomas is passed now. She tried to put forth a scholarship bill in the Missouri State House that would allow businesses to sponsor black children out of the Wellston School District, and all they wanted to do was to be able to write it off against their business taxes. You had people like Connie Johnson. You had people like Maria Chappelle Nadell. You had others that was representatives at the state capitol that was against that, and especially the NAACP.
When you talk about the NAACP, that's a whole different ball game, and I don't have time to get into that right now. But when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, we're not doing our best. And as a people, as a community, we can do better. But I don't think your president is going to be one that's going to be in support.
He's not supposed to. Your president has nothing to do with St. Louis Public Schools. The President of the United States has no input on your school districts. That's your business. Matter of fact, the state of Missouri legislature passed a law, said that the textbook, the teacher's instructions, and the curriculum is whatever the local school district wants it to be, i.e. the parents. And that the State Board of Education and the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has no input against that.
From what I'm being told, the President of the United States is in the process of trying to end public education.
No, you can't end public education. He's ending the Federal Department of Education.
He's ending the Federal Department of Education.
That's right. Turning the responsibility back to the states and also to the local concerns. Federal Department of Education have no business telling local school districts what they can teach and what they shouldn't be teaching, based on the fact that you got to let boys go into girls' bathroom, based on the fact that you got to let boys play on female sports team. They have no business involved in that.
Do you think that's the problem of today?
Who do I think it's a problem of the day? Yes, when you want boys coming in your female bathroom that your child, your girl, your daughter's in, huh?
I wouldn't have.
What happened to Target? Target, you had Target out there on Luke's and Hunt in West Florissant. What happened to the little girl out there? She was assaulted by some male, went in the bathroom. A black child.
I would be the first
You know
to
why
agree.
Target? Wait a minute. You know why Target was so friendly to it? Because one of Target's board members sits on a LGBTQ committee.
Well, LBT, whatever the alphabets are here to stay, and they're not going anywhere. And I think that this country has accepted homosexuality and lesbianism.
No, they have not.
Well,
in the state of Louisiana State House passed laws saying that you cannot speak on those levels to students in Louisiana schools.
The federal
you
government allows marriages.
In Louisiana school.
They allow marriages.
Wait
a minute, hold up. They allow marriages. They allow men to be married to men, women to be married to women, and so on and so forth. And that's all laid out with the federal government. Is it not?
And that's wrong. Federal government have no business in that issue. Matter of fact, when that particular case was being heard, you had two Supreme Court judges that should have recused themselves. One was Ruth Gator Ginsburg, and the other was Kagan. Why? Because they officiated same-sex marriage. They shouldn't have been on the case. And if they hadn't, if they had recused themselves, it wouldn't have passed.
The fact of the matter is that it passed. It's been law. And, what are we supposed to do with people because we don't agree with their lifestyle? We just supposed to discard them or
Nobody, that's not the case. That's not the problem. The federal government has no business getting involved in like abortion. That's not the federal government's business. Same interracial marriage. Marriage has always been sanctioned by who? The church.
I have to disagree with that, and I tell you one other thing.
Where did you get married at, Prince? You got married in the church.
Some people get married at the courthouse.
What was it recorded at, Prince? Wait a minute.
No, you wait a minute this time. Sometimes people get married at the courthouse, Pianki. I got this one thing about it. I do have the control of the volume, so you're not going to out-talk me, so you shouldn't try to do that. So I'm going to ask you to just refrain from trying to out-talk me. The other thing is this, Pianki. When it's all said and done, it has been accepted by society for men to marry men and women to marry women. I personally don't agree with that. I don't care for it. But it is what it is. And you can't tell people who to love. You can't tell people how to live their life. It's supposed to be the land of the free. If a man wants to marry a man and a woman wants to marry a woman, if they are of age, so be it. Go ahead. You still there?
It has not. What I'm saying is that marriages was always sanctioned by the church and recorded in the Bible.
Yeah, and now it's sanctioned in the courtroom as well. People exchange vows and get married in the courthouse.
It's for people who are non-religious. That's what they went to, was the courthouse. Not only that, I can marry people. Mm-hmm. I'm ordained by a particular church that I can marry people. It ain't no big deal.
Okay, how does it hurt the country by homosexuals, men marrying men, women marrying women? How does that hurt the country? That's what I don't understand.
Nobody's saying that a man can't marry a man, but when you start trying to portray that onto a child, then that's where the problem arises.
Well, I'll agree with that, but I mean, who's doing that? Where they do that?
Well, then you just answer your question.
No, I did not.
And don't say it don't go on. It does go on. in 2000, and in 2000 at Tufts College there in Massachusetts, you had an event that you can look up today. It's called the Fist Gate Conference. Fist, FISTGATE Conference. Google it.
Mm-hmm.
The organization that put it on was called Glenscene, GLENSCN. It was headed by a man by the name, and doggone, I can't think of his name right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they was busing kids into classrooms at Tufts College as young as 12 years old, and they was having breakout sessions, workshops. And some of the topics that was being discussed in the workshop was fisting, FISTING, and also, should I swallow or spit it out?
Mm-hmm.
Look it up.
So you said they were teaching this to 12-year-old children?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Well, I would be the first to say that's wrong. That's wrong. I agree. That's wrong. That's totally wrong and out of order.
The person who was leading it was Kevin Jennings, who became Barack Obama's safe school czar.
Okay, so what they got to do with Obama? Why you want to bring up Obama?
Why would he put somebody? He hired the man. He put him in the position over kids.
So if you don't agree with a person's lifestyle, you shouldn't have anything to do with him. That's what you're saying?
You shouldn't. A person with that type of lifestyle should not have carte blanche over children.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think,
unless the parents agree to it.
You don't think people with that type of lifestyle don't have prominent positions in our communities, be it the schools, the churches, politicians, so on and so forth. They're all over the place. So what are you supposed to do? Just because you don't agree with their lifestyle?
Keep them away from your kids. You got an organization called MASS Massachusetts that go around the country helping to educate, organize people against sexual content being in your library. Mm-hmm. I visited the library here last week, or week before last, and questioned them on the adult material that's in the library and what are they doing to keep it away from children, underage, and especially material that talks about gender.
I'm hearing now that Trump is in the process of ordering the rainbow flag to be removed from places all throughout the country. What's that all about?
It's federal buildings, federal places. Yes, he's right.
And what is that? What is the gain by that?
The only flags supposed to be flown at those installations, at those places, are the American flag, the flag that recognizes soldiers like POW, and the flag that recognizes particular groups like the Vietnam War with MIA.
Mm-hmm. So,
no BLM.
The city of St. Louis.
No rainbow.
The city of St. Louis can continue to fly its flag then. It's not a federal.
If they want to, it's not a federal installation.
Mm-hmm. But what is he trying to prove with all this nonsense? I mean, we have people here that have
people. That's what his constituents ask for.
You think that?
Well, we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, when he was at the Kiel Field House back in 2015, I went to one of his rallies. I never had in my life seen a presidential contender speak on the issues, especially those that was down home to me and a lot of other people that came. Yeah, people come as far as Arkansas to hear him.
Okay. Well, Pianki, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because it's time for me to get out of here. I do appreciate you sharing your thoughts, and January 6th was a resurrection, and there were people that lost their lives, and Trump did, in fact, instruct those people to go do that.
And I speak just the opposite. The FBI and other federal agencies do too. Why come he's not in jail? Anyway, we know why.
Because of white privilege.
I really appreciate the time. Next time, get your people to call in and ask questions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bianchi. Continue to listen and continue to call. That brother is off the chain with his rhetoric. and his Trump stuff, and I don't get it. He used to be totally the opposite 30 years ago. But anybody have a right to support Donald Trump that chooses to. I just hope and pray that this man is somehow or another controlled and or stopped from a lot of the rhetoric that he's doing. I think going after the illegal immigrants is something that to a certain extent needs to be done, has to be done, but to the tune of just trying to kick everybody out of the country is not the way to go about doing it. You got to understand that we claim to be the land of the free, and when people come to America, they expect to have the rights and privileges of America. That's why they came here. So, I mean, is it right? Is it wrong? You be the judge. Anyway, I'm going to take a short break before I wrap it up, and we'll come back with more of the Prince Carter Show.
White folk rule us with fear. It is not white people, it's your fear of them that you got to be freed from.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister. I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
It is time for us to use our power. Please do not beg folks for power. Nobody is going to give it to you. You were born with power.
Some very sad news for all of you and people who love peace all over the world. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below me.
I think I'm hearing revolution in the air. Tell me, brother, talk to me, sister.
But the hard truth is that not everyone is sharing in this city's splendor and glory. There are more poor than ever, more families in trouble, more and more people who need help but can't find it.
A struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself.
We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment.
And so we say to all in this nation who would dare listen to us, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Asian, Latino, that we are brothers and sisters in a long and difficult struggle.